Everybody, what up, though? I'm greeting you like I'm in Detroit because I'm in Detroit. Um, my face looks a little puffy. I've been crying. This is one day after our 22nd wedding anniversary, and I'm amazed at the goodness of the Lord. I'm amazed at the journey, the 22-year journey that God has kept us on, preserved us on. But I want to share you, that's not why I'm on here. Just want to share a little bit about what happened this morning. So, this might be a little bit vulnerable, but just hear me out. It's good. Stephen and I had a conversation last night after our anniversary date. You know, we're just sitting down and talking. And in the middle of it, he said, I've made so many mistakes that I think you've lost your initial excitement. He's like, you used to be so excited about me. And I said, no, I used to be so obsessed with you. And I think, I feel like it's balancing out a little bit. But basically, I was defending, or I was a little bit defensive about what he was saying. Because I'm like, no, I think I just grew up. Basically, is what I was saying. I think in the back of my head, there was some truth to what he was saying. It's just like we've experienced some hard things. And yes, God has healed and redeemed a lot of things, but I think in the process, I lost some of the Jamaican fire of like, oh, I want to be around this dude all the time, which is literally how I was. If he walked in the door, it didn't matter that I just saw him an hour before, I would be so geeked. And it wasn't pretentious. That's how my mother is with my father. And they've been married for 45 years. Like, for real. Like, I was obsessed, I think, probably in a good way. I don't know if it's a good way or not. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that's not the point. Here's the point. Here's the point, though. The point is this. God is interesting. So, this morning, he asked me, he was like, you want to go for a walk with me? And I'm exhausted. I woke up early for prayer, and I'm like, I don't feel like it. In my head, that's what I thought. But I got up and decided I was going to go for a walk with my husband. I don't know how people walk and do videos and stuff because this feels weird. Anyways, I looked on the dresser and I found this letter that I wrote to him for his birthday, probably about 23 years ago. It was definitely before we were married. So 24 years ago, I wrote this letter. And the language of the letter blew my mind because I'm like, this is Simone. This is the chick that was obsessed with Steve Cato. So two things hit me about that letter. One was how much I loved this dude, and I felt like the Lord was like, it's how much you love this dude. Like you still love him like that. Like life has been crazy, and so sometimes you forget, but you still love him like that. So that's the thing. That's one of the things. That's the first thing that jumped out at me as I read the letter I wrote to him. That hit me. But the other thing that hit me really hard, both of those things just caused me to weep this morning. The other thing that hit me, though, was the language of the letter. It wasn't flowery. It was bold and full of Jesus. Like, that's how I talked. The scripture flowed out of me like water, for real. Like, One of these days I'll read it. I think I'll come in order for you to understand what I'm talking about. I'll just read it. I'll probably do a live later or something and read what the letter said. But I was encouraging him. I was speaking life to him, but it wasn't emotional. You know, it was the word. It was scripture. It was me reminding him that before he was formed in his mother's womb, God loved him and had a purpose and a plan for his life. And it was a whole lot of things. But I read that thing and I was like, girl, you sound like a psalmist. And that's what people used to say about me all the time. When I was younger, like, you know, I love the Psalms, but more than that, I lived the word. I loved the word, and I lived the word, and I believed in speaking the word over myself and over the people in my life. And as I read that 23 at least year old letter, I was reminded of the girl who loved God and loved people and loved the word so much. The girl who operated with power and authority and clarity because of the amount of time that was spent in the presence of the Lord. So I'm not being like, oh, I'm not spending time with the Lord. I'm spending time with the Lord, but I got 4 kids, okay, and a husband, and I work, and I'm doing a ministry, and I have friends, and I have people that I hang out with that require time. So I am spending time with the Lord, but it is different, and I'm convicted. I am convicted because as I read that letter, I'm like, dude, or sis, I hang out with too many men. If you were basking in his presence like you used to for hours, and I know I don't have 4 and 5 hours to just sit with Jesus anymore unless it's a vacation or something, but if I was intentional about spending that kind of time, what the people around me need would naturally flow out of me. You know, I wouldn't have to think through it, figure it out, try to figure out. I think I would be more sober and alert, and I think I would be more okay with saying no to things that I should say no to, instead of trying to figure out how to fix everything and everybody. You know, like I think I would rest easier if I was spending time with the Lord the way I did and should. So yeah, I don't know. I am encouraged. I am reminded that I am still obsessed with my husband. Busy and tired as I am. All we've walked through are nuts. Steve Kidder, you're probably going to watch this at some point. And you already know the revelation because you saw me looking like a mess when I found that letter and read it. Happy anniversary. Happy 22 years of... Oh, the other thing that the Lord said was, I took a picture of it, and he said, there's a reason I told Israel to, you know, put those stones of remembrance together. There's a reason I told Israel to write the word on their doorposts and on their bodies. Because people forget. Life gets crazy, life gets busy, and we forget. So, whatever the thing is that you have forgotten, whatever the thing is that you feel like you've lost steam about or in, because life is lifing, I'm encouraging you to go sit with the Father so he can remind you of why you started what you started, why you love what you love or love who you love, why you do what you do, and let him breathe life. Because I'm like, ooh, I read that letter and I was like, girl, like, yes, you love this man, and you don't have to You know, you don't have to make up any special emotions or jump through any extra hoops. You just love him, and it's the Spirit of the Lord that keeps you loving him and keeps you remembering who he is in the lowest of times and the highest of times. I am married to an amazing man. That is the truth. That is the truth. And God put us together on purpose, you know? He put us together on purpose. And I'm very grateful. Very grateful. Very, very, very grateful. Anyways, this is the last thing I'll say. If you are a man that feels like the Lord is stirring some things up in you and you need a space to be with brothers, be with folks who will love you unconditionally, and help you heal, help you resurrect the things that are broken, we're inviting you to Mask Off 2025. July 19th is when the men will be there. So Mask Off is the 18th through the 20th of July is when the women will be there. But Stephen and I are going to share our very crazy story and how the Lord redeemed it and how the Lord is redeeming it on the 19th. So we're inviting men to join us for that part of it. And then there'll be a breakout session for some healing and encouragement and just pouring into of the men by themselves without the females. And if you're a woman and you feel like, dang, I'm tired, a little burnt out, maybe you're not any of those things. Maybe you don't even know, maybe you don't even know there's things that you need to forgive or things you need to heal from or things you need to work through. But if you're just a sister that's like, it would be sweet to go be with some other women and pray and do some inner healing work and fight for and with some other ladies, come through. Mask Off 2025 is July 18th through the 20th. There'll be a link under this video if you're interested in registering or sharing it with some other folks who might need what we're inviting you to. All right. That is all. Love you guys. Peace.